flight, and you need Xanax every 5 minutes to board a plane.
That's because they didn't let me in the high school fraternity, and I wore the Millwall all the time.
Oh, wow.
As a matter of fact, they were born in, I got it here, 1871 and 1867. So they weren't 2 or 3 years behind me. They were ahead of me. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Steelers take down the Patriots. The Cowboys get cooked, and some team beats the Packers, and it's not important.
It is.
And so we begin today with the air going out of the balloon of the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams lost their second straight game yesterday at home to the Philadelphia Eagles 30-23. The week before, the Chicago Bears beat the Rams 15-6. Jared Goff was intercepted 6 times in those 2 games. Meanwhile, the Eagles turned to their old friend Nick Foles and are now back in playoff contention. Wilbon, was this game a bigger deal for what it said about the Eagles or the Rams?
Well, the Eagles, Tony, because the Eagles would have been eliminated had they lost that game last night. They went on the road in Los Angeles, and they put it together with Nick Foles, which harkens back to last year for some people, although most of the Eagles, particularly Nick Foles, tried to dismiss that and run away from that storyline as quickly as they could, that it's deja vu all over again, Yogi Berra. But I think it's, look, I know the Rams looked a little skittish, and it's the second game in a row, and Jared Goff, particularly as you pointed out. But I'm going to say the Eagles salvaged it. They can still win their division or go to the wild card as a playoff, and they can defend their championship.
So I'm going to, and while I will agree with that, and I can talk about that if you'd like, but I want to focus on the Rams for a second in the context, the greater context of the NFL. About a month ago, we looked at the NFL, and we looked at 3 or 4 teams that were at the head of the class. The Chiefs, the Patriots, the Rams, and the Saints. Saints didn't play this weekend yet. The Saints play tonight. We're seeing a change in the landscape in the NFL right now in front of us because those first 3 teams I mentioned, the Chiefs, the Patriots, and the Rams, they've been beaten decisively recently. Jared Goff, 6 interceptions in 2 weeks makes you think Jeff Fisher's not that dumb. You know, you wonder, what is Sean McVay going to do to fix this?
Tony, people speak in absurd terms now. The favorite phrases of former recent athletes is, you go and you clean that up. No, you don't.
It's not that easy.
You attempt to get better at something through practice and study, but it doesn't mean you're not going to encounter the same difficulties. Now, I'm not going to overreact. I still think the Rams will start to pull themselves together because you know what? A 13-3 or a 12-4 record is nothing to sneeze at
record,
in the NFL.
But Mike, their offense, which we marveled at, was averaging 35 points a game going into the Bears game.
Yeah.
Bears held them to 6, but that's outdoors and it's cold. But they went back to Los Angeles, and they've gotten a total of 29 points in those games. So I don't. That's not a quick fix. Not to me.
No, it's not.
The Eagles, and you mentioned Foles. There's this notion out there that they're much better with Foles than with Carson Wentz.
I don't know about
they're
that.
2-1 with Foles starting. They're 5-6, I guess, with Carson Wentz. That's pretty much a wash. And Foles threw a bad pick late that let the Rams back in the game.
Let's go bottom line.
Yeah.
Do the Eagles make the playoffs?
The Eagles have Washington at home, and then they have Houston at home, and then Washington.
And then here in D.C.
I don't think so. They could. I don't think
they
so.
do.
Okay.
I don't particularly want to play them.
I still think the Cowboys make it. So
after yesterday,
I do.
The centerpiece for Overreaction Monday is Pittsburgh's win over the Patriots. Here's why people are concluding that the loss is more than just a loss on the road against a division leader and rival. It's the first time in 16 years the Patriots have lost back-to-back games in December. Their 5 losses are the most the club has had in a single season since 2009. And this is the 3rd time this season the Golden Boys offense has been held to 10 points or fewer. First time for that this century, Tone.
Yeah.
That's a great win for the Steelers, but what, if anything significant, does this say about the Patriots?
So let's start out by saying this, and those statistics are the balance beam for that. You cannot overrate how great the Patriots have been in the last 15 years.
No, you can't.
You cannot. They are so great. Okay, now, and I know you and I agree with this because you said it on my podcast today. At the moment, right now, today, the Patriots don't look like championship contenders.
No.
They have a very marginal defense. On offense, I mean, if you watch, and it's got to come down to Brady.
I was going to say, let's get to the big point here.
It's got to come down to Brady.
We don't want to say it. It's blasphemy.
Well, twice he had the ball in his hands late in the game to do something, and in fact, he failed. He threw a very bad interception that was intercepted at the sideline at about the 4 or the 5 or whatever it is. And after that, in the last series, always, it seemed to me, always looking for Edelman, he sailed it. He just sailed it. So on a weekend where both Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady don't win, that takes your breath away a little bit.
Yeah, I'm, every year, because we've gone through this 3 or 4 years now, where you have said, hold on, the Patriots, they got this, or Gronk is out.
Yeah.
And I would just say to you, shh, the Patriots will be the Patriots at the end, and they have been. Whether or not they won the Super Bowl.
Are you saying it now?
I'm saying this is the first time in this whole run where I look at them and just think, and it's the eye test. I don't have any stats to support it, nor do I want any. Brady looks like he's starting to just he's
41.
So it's time.
41.
It's not a tragedy.
No.
We talk about this all the time with great players. It comes to an end. I'm not saying it's at an end. I'm saying it looks like they could be beaten, particularly by, say, the Ravens, if the Ravens had to go visit them in a playoff game, even in New England.
They're 3 and 5 in road games.
If they're on the road.
No, they're 3 and 5 in road games, and only
and Gronk,
once.
by the way.
He was a
Gronk
non-factor.
is like the 5th best tight end in the league right now.
So if you're 3 and 5 on the road, only Green Bay in recent memory with a losing record won the Super Bowl. Here. I think we need to say this. You never count them out.
No.
You don't ever count them out.
I'm not doing that.
But it feels like
doesn't look right.
It feels like Arthur McCanty is about to start, right?
But it's not over Mike Tyson from Buster Douglas, is it? Huh?
It's over Brady, you know that. 2 ascending playoff teams got derailed yesterday, Seattle and Dallas. Now, we're going to talk about Seattle later and Dallas here. The Cowboys had won 5 in a row until landing in Indianapolis and getting cleaned out 23-0. The Colts have won 7 of their last 8. Wilbon, we have been so loving with the Cowboys lately. Should we be as loving with the Colts now?
That shutout was weird to me. I couldn't get over that for 2 or 3 more games. It was 6-0, right? Wasn't it 6-0?
To Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That bothers me. Okay. I realize it's a division team and all that.
Right.
That bothers me. It says something. I'm not sure what it says. I think that Luck has done a great job. And even more than that, let me applaud a guy I know fairly well for his whole life, and that's Frank Reich, the head coach and the guy who is the architect of that offense. I love this, that Frank Reich is doing this. I think that he has put Luck in a comfortable position. We can get rid of the quick, shorter passes, moving around, don't take these hits. I love all that. And so I'm rooting for them, Frank Reich most notably. But I'm not ready to go as crazy as you are over them.
I haven't talked yet.
Because I think
I haven't talked yet.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say this. They started out 1-5.
Yeah.
They started out, they gave up 42 to the Jets. They gave up 38 to the Patriots and 37 to the Texans. So it clearly took Andrew Luck a while because he didn't throw a ball at all for a year.
This very different system that Frank Reich put him in.
And now they're really good. I don't think this year. I think they'll be really good next year. I think that Luck is the comeback player of the year. And I think that this shutout of Dallas, if I'm right on this, the last time they were shut out, 2003. That's a long. You can't blame Garrett for that one because that was 2003. Now I don't think Dallas is in a terrible amount of trouble. I still think they'll make the playoffs. Defense is a concern because they don't score a lot.
Right.
They don't. Dak Prescott doesn't get them in the end zone as much as you'd like.
Tony, the Cowboys, I know they've not given up many points. They went into yesterday, I believe, with the number 2 scoring defense, I think.
Yes.
But the Cowboys don't do anything great.
Nope.
They're good.
They're
above
great.
average slightly in a lot of different categories, maybe most of the important ones. But I'm still wondering what to feel about the Colts. I'm not quite there yet.
You don't want to call them an emerging superpower, do you?
But don't go there.
Yeah.
Despite the Bears being a superior team to the Packers just this once, the Cheeseheads loss in Chicago isn't going down easy with some Packer alums. Former Brett Favre teammate Leroy Butler was exasperated with none other than Aaron Rodgers when he tweeted, quote, "If you can't outplay Mitch Trubisky, how good are you?" Whoa! Rodgers threw a late pick, was harassed and battered by the Bears defense, particularly Khalil Mack. Tony, did you see this loss as a Rodgers failing his team, or did the Bears, as I promised you all last week, simply whip the Packers' butts?
You were very, very loud right twice. You were loud right about the Steelers. I thought the Patriots would win that game, and you were loud right about this game. You said there's no way the Packers are going in Chicago to win. So I want to give the bears a lot of credit here because, yes, they had a terrible loss to the Giants. That was a bad loss. But they've beaten the Vikings, they've beaten the Rams, they've beaten the Packers lately. Those are all good wins. So let me get to Aaron Rodgers, because in the same way you get to Tom Brady, you get to Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Because over the last 10 years, those are two best quarterbacks in football. And they're going into the Hall of Fame, both. They're great players. When you watch Aaron Rodgers right now, and we both love Aaron Rodgers, when a pass is incomplete, there is a sour expression on his face that is noticeable all over TV land. And he's always doing this to a receiver. So it's like, where were you? Where were you? So his body language is extraordinarily dismissive. Maybe he's hurt. He does not look like Aaron Rodgers.
He looks close enough, Tony. The last pass he threw on the sideline in that game to put Green Bay in a position, he threw and completed some great passes yesterday. The whole season has not been good for them. Look, the Green Bay Packers haven't gone winless on the road since like 1953 or something like that.
This is not the Patriots who are going to the playoffs. These guys are eliminated.
They're eliminated. By the way, nothing. This brings me more joy than eliminating the Cardinals. It does. The baseball Cardinals by the Cubs. So, but I think, Tony, a Bears defense harassed him. They did it the first game of the season, even though they lost the game.
Bears are good.
And they did it again in Chicago, which was predicted.
Bears are good.
Khalil Mack should be the defensive MVP. Even though he missed 2 games, and Aaron Donald has had a great season.
You've criticized Ryan Pace. You've criticized Mitch Trubisky.
It's over.
You've criticized Matt Nagy.
Nagy, stop calling those trick plays when you got that defense.
You have a chance to win, to get to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah. I'm sorry, on your podcast to which you referred. Did I praise all those people every week lately?
Not enough.
Oh, stop.
Let's take a break. Not for the amount of time you hated them. Your questions, or what we are told are your questions, they may all come from the intern. Let me see what's first.
Sabotaging the show?
How confident should the Ravens be about their playoff chances?
You know, Tony, it's hard to be what you'd call confident, particularly if you have to go on the road and beat a capable team. That's difficult. And the Ravens have very little margin for error. And I would just suggest this to you. You mentioned margin of victory sometimes. It's because there's no margin of error. When you run the ball and rely on your defense as they do, now with Lamar Jackson, the quarterback, and that defense having to stop somebody, you don't have any blowouts. It's tough to go on the road and win. So I'd say on this confidence scale, they should be a 7.
They have to go win at Chargers.
I know.
And we don't think they're going to win at Chargers.
Well, they could.
But if they lose, they're 8-7. Okay? And at that point, the Colts and the Titans, the Colts have the Giants at home, which should be a win. The Titans have the Redskins at home, which should be a win.
Well,
then they're both 9-6, and then the winner of their game will get in ahead of the Ravens.
The Ravens are in a must-win situation going to what I call San Diego.
The Ravens took a hit because Pittsburgh won. That hurt the Ravens.
The Ravens took a hit because they didn't play well the first 5 or 6 or 7 games of this season. They've been pretty good since Jackson, right?
Yes, 4-1.
Okay.
And an overtime loss.
Is Shaquille Griffin right that he got hosed by a bad call?
Yes, he's right. It was a bad call. But Seattle had no business being in a dogfight with San Francisco.
Yeah, they should. It's a division game.
They had no business being in overtime, which is when this happened with San Francisco. Because going into this game, Seattle was 8-5, and they had won 4 in a row. And San Francisco was 3-10 and was down to their third-string quarterback. 2 weeks ago, they beat this team by 27.
Where'd they beat them?
They didn't beat them where they played them yesterday. They beat them in Seattle by 27.
These are division games, and the 49ers, I'm worried about them this Sunday. They're getting better.
You're worried about everybody.
They play them. Richard Sherman can't deliver a scouting report on his old team? No, this was going to be a close game. Anybody who's a confidence pool is not going to run out.
One close.
That was in Seattle. How many times do I have to say? Do you know the difference between Seattle and San Francisco?
I believe one has a longer name and one is in California.
You know the difference between the fields of their home field advantage of each of their independent stadiums?
Enormous home field in Seattle. Enormous advantage. But they shouldn't be there.
Yeah, they should have been there. By the way, he got hosed.
I said that. Yeah. Are you back on the Vikings bandwagon?
No. The Vikings went crazy yesterday with their new offensive coordinator running the football. And it was great because the Miami Dolphins were hovering already around 30th in run defense, and today I believe they're officially 31st of 32 teams in run defense. So they just did the common sense thing. You have to study a bunch of film all week to say run the ball, particularly at home against the Dolphins coming off an emotional victory. This was the easy game for Minnesota to win.
They ran 40 times, which is far more than they had ever run in any game.
Yeah.
The criticism of DiFilippo and that team was that Kirk Cousins passed too much.
He did.
Kirk Cousins this game
Still
passed
pick six.
21. Yeah, but
Still
only
threw a pick
one.
six.
But only one because he had a good game.
They didn't let him.
He
They didn't
threw
let him throw
21
it.
times,
Yeah.
which is the least that they've done.
Yeah.
You can scoff at this, but maybe a small change, like offensive coordinator, maybe that spurs.
That's a big change.
Maybe that spurs the team. Maybe they're back in contention.
There's some teams they got coming up on the schedule they ain't going to run it 40 times against. If they do, they'll be 40 times for an average gain of about a yard and a half.
The Bears one of them?
Yeah, the Bears are
Whoa,
one of them. But
how did I know?
Wait. Are the Bears 30th against the run like
no,
the Dolphins?
They're not.
Thank you.
As we turn into Chicago-centric television.
We turn into pay attention to the opponent that week.
Bears,
the Dolphins aren't a team with a defense.
Richard Dent, Steve McMichael. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Come on. You sound
Gary
like
Fensick. Go. Just read the note.
Singletary.
Ding.
Dorson,
Read the note.
L.A. Mike. Dan Hampton.
We have no time.
Now that they had Trevor,
no time.
Are all the Wizards' problems solved?
No, of course they're not solved.
We don't need any time for that. We're going to agree on
Here's
this.
what they got. They got a guy in Ariza who is a veteran who plays good defense. And the last time, the last time he was in Washington, he was good at that.
Yeah.
And he is allegedly very well liked by Beal and Wall, which is fine.
They need it.
And he's got an expiring contract, which is very attractive.
No, it's not to them.
But he gets 9 points a game, and in Oubre and Rivers, they gave up 20. So maybe this kid Sam Decker can play offense.
Sam Decker better play.
Maybe he can play some offense because they lost some points, although he's a very good defender.
Tony, here's what they got him to do. They got him to run the locker room. The Wizards made an unbelievably dumb move letting Paul Pierce go when he would have stayed.
3 years ago.
Tony, John Wall is the veteran of the locker room. Is that what you want?
No, it's not what I want. How about
you? John Wall was 25. They let Paul Pierce go. It was a bad move. Now, they're trying to make up for that by getting a veteran guy in there, as you accurately said, that Wall and Beal go, yeah. We like that guy.
They brought in a veteran.
But, Tony,
Dwight Howard. He hasn't played.
At this point, Dwight Howard. Ariza can help a team over the top. He can't help a team up from the bottom. So I don't know about this, even though I love Trevor Ariza in any role like that.
How did he do it, Phoenix?
Tony, he was there for a different reason, to mentor a bunch of pups.
9 points.
It's a different deal in Washington.
Enough email.
You forgot Ron Rivera coming off the bench.
Let's take one last break.
Ron Rivera.
Still to come, James Dolan considers what would need to happen for him to sell the Knicks.
Wilbur Marshall, 58. Manny Machado meets with the White Sox. Could he really end up on the south side?
Jim McMahon and the fridge. The fridge.
Of course.
The fridge.
The offense.
Matt Suey. The fridge wasn't the offense, was it?
You got to start with
Peyton.
Interruption is brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925.
Happy time, people. Happy 25th birthday, Buddy Hield. Hield is that rare NBA bird, someone who used all 4 years of eligibility and was still drafted in the top 10, number 6 to New Orleans. Hield went to Sacramento as part of the Boogie Cousins trade. Everyone disappears in Sacramento, but Hield is averaging 19 points a game for the suddenly and surprisingly pretty good Kings, who would make the playoffs for the first time in 12 years if the season ended today.
Tony, I know they're not Vlade, C-Webb, Bibby, and Stojakovic. I get that. But Cauley-Stein, Hield, De'Aaron Fox, Shumpert, Bielitsa, that's a nice ensemble they've got going in Sacramento.
Give me 2 Bielitsas to go, please. A not-so-happy anniversary, Jesse James. On this day last year, the Steelers' tight end caught what appeared to be the go-ahead touchdown against the Patriots, only to have the replay officials overturn the call, saying the ball hit the ground in the end zone. But as a result, we now have clarity to the degree that what looks like a catch is a catch. Jesse James's loss is the nation's gain.
Well, it wasn't just Jesse James. A lot of guys suffered from that, Tony, including Megatron. But, you know, the playoffs haven't come yet. We got time for controversy in that area.
Happy trails to Sebastian Janikowski making this tackle. Watch as well-fed 40-year-old Seabass, who had just kicked off to San Francisco's Richie James, doesn't even try to get in the way of this touchdown run. Seabass is a kicker. They don't pay him to tackle anybody. In contrast, watch as Tennessee quarterback Marcus Mariota, who is also paid not to make contact with anybody, throw a full body block on Alec Ogletree of the Giants to help get additional yardage for Derrick Henry.
You know Janikowski. You don't even want Janikowski trying to make a tackle because then you're without your kicker. He's broken 40 bones in his body.
He's going to the Hall of Fame.
He's there to kick. That's it.
Guy. Running out of show when we go to the big finish.
Let's
quickly,
do it.
Manny Machado will visit the White Sox today. The Yankees on Wednesday, the Phillies on Thursday. Who's your favorite to sign him?
I'd love to see him on the South Side, but do you sign up with a team that already just signed your wife's brother?
No.
Road trips? I'm just asking. Dolphins running back Frank Gore has a sprained foot. Not expected to play again this season. Is that a big deal?
4th all time.
Yeah.
I never would have known that. This could be it. He's 35. This could be it. James Dolan says he has not ruled out selling the Knicks if the right offer came along. Your thoughts?
My thoughts are $5 billion in New York. A lot of people got that. Michael Bloomberg?
Probably got that.
Sure.
Yeah. You've got it.
And what dream are you in right now? Jags coach Doug Marrone says he doesn't know if it's too late to rescue his job. What do you think?
He ought to know. It's too late. He lost to the Redskins at home.
Man.
Last one, Saints and Panthers tonight. Who you got?
I'm going to say the Saints and Rams both peaked a little early. I'm taking the Panthers.
Is that right?
Yep.
We're out of time. Trying to do better the next time, and I'm Tony Kornheiser.
Well, Cam, stop that losing streak. Give us some excitement tonight. I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. Now we send you to Susie Carver in Charlotte for the Monday night.